Welcome back to Black Enterprise Business Report. The presidential contenders have their stump speeches ready, and they're sharing their 2 cents. I recently sat down with Clinton, Obama, and Edwards to find out how they plan on helping you. You and your husband have both been beloved by the African American community, but yet you still don't seem to take this for granted.
Well, it's because I want to earn everyone's vote. And I know it's a process of earning. I'm not taking anyone for granted. I have a long history of working on a lot of issues, have many, many friends in the African American community, from business to the professions to politics to everywhere. But I think campaigns are about going out and sharing your vision.
What's your policy for urban renewal?
Well, I want to do 3 things. I want to renew the human resources in our cities. I want to restore the physical infrastructure. You know, a lot of our inner cities across our country are crumbling. And, you know, our housing, our mass transit, our roads, so much is not being maintained and not being improved. Well, that sends a terrible message. You know, what are we going to do to send a different message? And I want to make investments because we can put people to work. And finally, I want to get more economic opportunity, more access to credit, more banks, more institutions that will stay in the community, recycle the money that is made in local urban communities.
You have organizations like SBA and HUD that are supposed to be doing these things. If you get into office, how are you going to effectively make change with these organizations?
You know, in the 90s, we started with leaders who actually believed in the mission. So we're going to put some of the best people back into government.
You got blasted for universal health care. Now it seems to be a marquee word. Are you seriously thinking about tackling this again?
Absolutely, because, you know, it's not just a moral imperative with 45 million uninsured Americans and millions more who have insurance, but except when they need it, the insurance company says no. It's an economic imperative now. We're losing jobs around the world because we are not able to have a sensible, cost-effective, quality-driven healthcare system. It's going to be my highest domestic priority.
You know, a lot of politicians make a lot of promises. What is your promise, your urban policies to help bring forth economic empowerment?
Well, it has to happen at a couple levels. First of all, the whole economy has to grow, which means that we've got to do a much better job of educating our children from preschool all the way through postgraduate work. We've got to make sure that we've got a health care system that is not bankrupting families, which is why I've proposed a universal health care plan to cover all Americans and obtain savings in the health care system. We've got to make absolutely certain that we're investing in issues like energy, where we can generate new jobs and new businesses pointing towards the future in green technologies and things like that. So that applies across the board. You've got particular issues in terms of urban America and the inner city that we have to tackle, and that means making sure that broadband lines and wireless networks exist everywhere, making absolutely certain that we've got the kinds of transitional job programs for individuals like ex-offenders who are hard to employ. Focusing on small businesses in those communities is going to be critical, making sure that they've got both financing and they've got the technical assistance to thrive. And then we've got to target efforts like affordable housing in those communities that can generate jobs and businesses at the same time as they're providing people places to live.
So if you were in office, how would you strengthen those like HUD and SBA to be more effective to do what they're supposed to do for minority lending or for urban renewal?
Well, there are a couple of things that we're going to have to do. Number one is we've got to get SBA more effective than it is right now. It's not adequately funded, and it doesn't reach out to communities effectively. It's sort of sitting behind a building somewhere. And if you are savvy enough as a business person or entrepreneur to seek out the SBA, then maybe they'll help you. Number two is we've got to coordinate across agencies. So you mentioned HUD and SBA. Are they talking to each other?
Excellent. Thank you for
Good.
your time.
Thank you.
Just try to give us cliff notes on your policy for urban renewal.
Sure. Housing. I think we ought to create 1 million new Section 8 housing vouchers so that people have the ability to have a decent place to live. Unfortunately, some people are in transitional housing or don't have a house at all. Second, we want to bring jobs into the inner city. I proposed 1 million new, what I call stepping stone jobs, to put particularly young people, particularly young African American men, to work in community centers and libraries and parks, so that it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a stepping stone to other work. We also want to bring the best teachers into inner city schools, which means they need to be paid an incentive pay on top of, I think we need to raise teacher pay generally, but an incentive pay on top of the pay that they're already receiving.
It seems that with this this current election year, that no one is taking the African American vote for granted, including yourself.
Right. No one. That would be a really stupid thing to do. No, you have, and what African Americans care about, they want to see a president who understands their lives and has real and specific ideas about giving them an opportunity to do great things. And that's what my entire campaign is about. I mean, I've committed myself to ending poverty. I have talked about all these opportunities: college, housing, universal health care, all the things that I think will have a huge impact.
In future shows, we'll share with you the Republican candidates' views. Coming up, if you want to look like a supermodel and talk show host Tyra Banks without going broke, stick around. We'll tell you after the break.
Wealth Building is brought to you by Toyota, a great way to keep moving forward.